Good morning, students of class 12. So today we are going to discuss about the topic, that is the India's foreign policy. Now, according to bifurcated syllabus, your topics chapter 1, 2, 3 and 4 we have already completed. Only India's foreign policy, that is only few topics, a few very less, that means one topic is only there, Pakistan topic, which you have to study. In that the Indo-Pak war, its causes, consequences. Bas. This topic is there in this lesson. Others all are deleted according to the reduced syllabus. I am telling according to the current reduced syllabus. And this lesson is there in the bifurcated syllabus. Next, the women's right chapter is also there left out. That women's right chapter, also very few topics are there to study. Now, so let us start this lesson, India's foreign policy, and remember your half yearly exam which is going to happen, which will be taken according to the bifurcated syllabus. Those chapters which are going to come in the first semester will only be in your this portion. Okay, so you have to think of now first semester only. Remember, you only have to think of first semester. So you have no burden. Now only 4 chapters already completed. We are only this small 2 chapters you have to study. That is Indo-Pak war and that movement of women's right. So let us now study the Indo-Pak wars. So what were the causes? After independence of India in 1947, the princely states were given the option by Mountbatten Plan to choose whether to accede to India or to Pakistan, or to remain outside of both the countries. Before and after the withdrawal of British from India, the ruler of Jammu and Kashmir came under the pressure from both India and Pakistan to agree to accede to one of the newly independent countries. And you have to come to join anyone, either Pakistan or India. Both side pressure was there. Hari Singh, the ruler of Jammu and Kashmir, was a Hindu, but the people of the state mostly belonged to Muslim community. The Pakistan government signed a temporary pact with the ruler Hari Singh, but very soon Hari Singh became disturbed due to behavior of Pakistan government. On 22nd October 1947, Pakistan started a military campaign against Kashmir. Ruler Hari Singh now asked for Indian help and agreed to sign the instrument of accession to the Union of India. Now, Indian army then started the counter-attack against Pakistani intruders. So, Jammu and Kashmir National Conference volunteers aided Indian army. The matter was then referred to UNO, and with UNO, it brought the war to an end. And during the ceasefire, Pakistan was able to acquire roughly 2/5 of Kashmir, while India maintained its control on the remaining 3/5 of Kashmir. Now, Second Indo-Pak War of 1965. Although the Kashmir conflict was predominant issue, other border disputes existed, most notably over the run of Kutch. It was a barren region in the Indian state of Gujarat. In April 1965, Pakistan suddenly invaded the Run of Kutch and thus began armed hostility. The British Prime Minister Harold Wilson intervened. The dispute was referred to an international court of arbitration. By the verdict of arbitration court, Pakistan was awarded 350 square miles of Run of Kutch as against the original demand of 3,500 square miles. Ever since her first attempt at sending Pakistani soldiers as infiltrators into Kashmir in 1947, Pakistan had kept the Kashmir issue as a cause of contention with India. This developed into a 3-week war with India in September 1965. The war ended on the intervention of the UNO and the Soviet Russia. In this situation, the conference was arranged at Tashkent in Soviet Russia between President Ayub Khan of Pakistan and Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri of India. the head of the two states issued a joint declaration announcing their agreement to try to decide all the outstanding issues by peaceful methods and to withdraw their respective armies to positions. Now, the Third Indo-Pak Wars in 1970 Pakistani election of the East Pakistani Awami League won 167 out of 169 seats in East Pakistan and thus secured a simple majority in the 313th seat in the lower house of the Pakistani parliament. Awami League Sheikh Mujibur Rahman presented a sick point to the President of Pakistan and claimed the right to form the government after the leader of Pakistan People's Party Zulfikar Ali Bhutto refused to yield the premiership of Pakistan to Mujibur Rahman. Pakistani President Yahya Khan called the military dominated by the West Pakistanis to suppress the dissent in the East Pakistan. Now, mass arrest of dissidents began and attempts were made to disarm the East Pakistan soldiers and police. Mujibur was arrested and taken to West Pakistan. Members of Awami League fled into exile. A systematic attempt was made to kill the intellectual elites of East Pakistan 26th March 1971. A major of Pakistani army declared independence of the country and the exiled Awami League leaders formed a government in exile to carry out the movement. So movement did not stop. The Pakistan army systematically conducted a widespread genocide against the Bengali population of East Bengal. About 10 million people left East Bengal and took refuge in Indian states of West Bengal. So, the Pakistan army systematically conducted a widespread genocide against the Bengali population in East Bengal. About 10 million people left East Bengal and took refuge in Indian states of West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, and Tripura. This created intolerable strain on the India's already overburdened economy. The Indian government appealed again and again to the international community but failed. On 22nd March 1971, the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi expressed full support for the independence struggle of the people of East Pakistan. It was then decided that it was more effective to end the genocide by taking armed action than to provide food and shelter to the refugees who came from East Pakistan. On 3rd December 1971, the Pakistani Air Force suddenly attacked 11 airfields of India. Mrs. Indira Gandhi held that the airstrikes were a declaration of war against India, and this marked the official beginning of the Third Indo-Pak War. So, to prevent the Pakistani attack on India, Indian Air Force took offensive position and thus Lieutenant A.K. Niazi surrendered to Indian forces in Dhaka. The prisoners of war were later on released by India and after signing the Shimla Agreement. What were the consequences of the war? As a result of the war, Pakistan lost more than the half of the population, nearly 1/3 of its army. Huge loss for Pakistan. It was a complete humiliating defeat. It created a psychological setback and defeat in the hands of intense rival India. Pakistan lost half of its navy, a quarter of its air force, and a third of its army. Pakistan realized that the two-nation theory of Muhammad al-Jinnah had been disapproved in one side. On the other side, Islamic ideology had proved insufficient to keep Bengalis of East Bengal part of Pakistan in signing of Shimla Agreement. Thus, now understanding the implications, now Indian government was happy with the establishment of Bangladesh, the prospect of an early return of 10 million Bengali refugees who were the main cause of Indo-Pak War. So Bangladesh now became an independent nation, the world's fourth most populous Muslim state. So Mujibur Rahman was released from West Pakistani prison, returning to Dhaka on 10 January 1972. He became the first president of Bangladesh and later its prime minister. So, in today's video, we have studied till this topic is your reduced syllabus. Now, no more is there in this lesson. In this lesson, no other topics you have to touch. Only this Indo-Pak war causes and consequences according to the reduced syllabus. According to the reduced syllabus, these are the topics which you have to study in India's foreign policy, and you are going to get the revision work on MCQ based only, because your MCQ questions are coming from these lessons in your first semester. So you are going to study half yearly targeting the first semester. First semester, according to bifurcated syllabus, your lessons which are coming: towards independence partition, establishment, development, Indian democracy, challenges to Indian democracy, changing face of Indian democracy, India's foreign policy, movements of women's right. These chapters, according to which 1, 2, 3, 4 already completed. Today India's foreign policy is also completed. On that MCQ questions you are going to get. Movement of women's right, one topic is only there. So we are going to do in the next video, will complete it. So no problem with this, we are going to complete it very soon, and we are started already. First chapter revision I had started with MCQ, already 2 MCQ parts of worksheet links you have got. Now I am going to enter into the second lesson according to the reduced syllabus. The questions are framed of MCQ according to your reduced syllabus. Study according to that. Okay, so study the reduced syllabus and study these lessons for your half yearly first semester portion is there. For half yearly your first semester portion is only there according to the bifurcated syllabus. The first semester which is there in your syllabus, first semester portion, chapter 1 they have given: towards independence, establishment, development of Indian democracy, challenges to Indian democracy, changing face of Indian democracy, India's foreign policy, and movements of women's right. Okay, so these lessons are there. So let us start today the worksheet revision link. Thank you students, study properly.